Hi, and welcome back to my channel. So in a previous video, I showed you how you could make seamless loops out of your video game music. And since then, I actually learned a new way to do it that I think is a slightly easier way to do it. And that's what I want to show you today. So I'm currently working on a JRPG game music pack, and this is the town theme from that pack. So let's try to make a loop out of this one. I'm not going to play the whole track for you, but I'm just going to demonstrate the loop here. So that's the looping point. And what we're going to do is that we're going to take the whole track and duplicate it. And I'll show you why in a second. All right. Then we're going to bounce it. Yeah, let's call it town theme loop demo. And after export, I want to create an audio track inside my DAW. Let's do this. Oh yeah, I already have this track name, so let's override it. I tried to do a demo earlier to make sure that this works. Alright, and I'm just going to skip ahead while this is exporting. Alright, the export is done, and we have the exported track down here. And before I play it, I want to disable my mastering plugin. Alright, let's single it. How does this sound? Right, that's a nice seamless loop right there. And the idea behind this method is that this looping point here will contain the reverb tail from the ending going into the beginning. And what we're going to do is we're going to make a cut here, exactly on the loop. And then we'll make 2 additional cuts somewhere in the middle of the track-ish. It's just important that it's the same place that we're cutting. Then let's remove the other parts. So now we're going to move the beginning of the track here. And then this is the part where we did the cut in the middle. So I'm going to highlight both tracks and do a crossfade. And on the Cubase, that's just highlighting the tracks and pressing X on your keyboard. Alright, and then let's make sure that this still sounds good. Right, that sounds like it's supposed to. So now let's try to export this track and bring it into Audacity so we can actually test the loop. Or instead of doing this manually, I can actually highlight the tracks that I want to export and press P on my keyboard. That'll make sure that this marker actually highlights the selection down here. And before I do the export, I'm actually going to remove my mastering plugin completely. And that is because, like, even though it's bypassed, it can still have some effects on the export itself. Okay, and let's do the audio mix down. And this time I do not want to create an audio track. I just want to do the export only. And we're going to overwrite the previous one. Alright, this export is a little bit quicker. Then let's open Audacity. Right. And bring in the clip here. Alright, let's test the loop. And we can do that by simply duplicating the track here and play. See, that sounds perfectly smooth. And actually, if we zoom in here, you can see that that the audio waves also match completely. So that's why it sounds so smooth. But sometimes when you use this method, then the start of the track can sound a little bit unnatural. Let's see if this is the case here. Now this was actually okay, but this track doesn't have that much reverb. But if you have a track with like a lot of reverb, then it can sound a little bit unnatural when you start playing the track, because it does have the reverb tail of the ending baked into it, and the ending is not played before, like on the first playthrough. So there's 2 ways to get around this. The game developer can actually just do a slight fade in of your track so you don't get that awkward bump at the beginning. So that's an easy fix. Another way to do it is actually to make two versions of your track. One that is meant for the first playthrough, and then another one that's just the actual loop itself. And I think this track is a good candidate because it actually does have an intro that we have not included in this loop. So let's see if we can do that. Okay, and I have to add my mastering plugin again. Let's see here. And I save the preset, so it should be ready, right? And then we're gonna unmute here. Okay, so this is the intro. It's just a couple of bars lead in to the main track. Oh. So what we're going to do now is that we'll just export like the actual first playthrough with the intro included. Let's export this, and then let's call it loop demo with intro. And we don't need to do any editing of the audio file here, so we will just do nothing after export. And I'll skip ahead until the export is done. All right, the export is done. So let's try to go back to Audacity. And then let us bring in the first playthrough that includes the intro. Okay, so remember up here, this is the actual loop, and this will be the first playthrough. So let's listen to the intro. That should sound natural now. Right, it does. And then let's check how the looping point sounds. See, also completely smooth. And then we can just double check with the actual loopable part. And that's also smooth. So that's another way to like prevent this awkward reverb tail at the beginning, is to make an actual first playthrough track, and then the second track that can keep being looped. Alright, if you find this video helpful and would like to see more stuff like this in the future, then please like this video and subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much.